What's up, YouTube? It's Onion Bomb here, and welcome to Week 11 of my 2018-2019 NFL game predictions. Now, before we predict the Week 11 games, like we always do, let's take a look back on the previous week, which in this case is Week 10, and see how we all did. As you guys can see on screen now, it was a decent week for me. 8-6 is not the worst, it's not the best. It was enough to preserve my lead. However, I couldn't do any worse because if you can see, the Bull did pretty good, really good actually, at 10-4. Now he's just right behind me again with only two. I only have a 2 prediction lead. It was earlier this year. The Bull was in a similar situation, and I ended up passing it. Hopefully that doesn't happen this time. I just gotta keep getting predictions right, more and more right. And Madden still struggling a little bit here, going 6-8, not the best. And yeah, it's at 75, 71, and 2. Yeah, that's more than 10 behind me and the Bull. So Madden's definitely gotta pick it up like now if it wants to do anything. Can't have too many more of these weeks like this. It needs to get some predictions right. So I don't know. I'm at 89, 57, and 2, and the Bull is at 87, 59, and 2. So maybe that's gonna change this week. Maybe it doesn't. It all depends on who does what, and it depends who picks what teams right. Now a little bit more in depth the actual games for Panthers versus the Steelers. Me and the Bull, I had the Steelers, and Madden had the Panthers. Saints and Bengals, I was the only one to get that right with the Saints, and the Bull and Madden got wrong with the Bengals. By the way, the Steelers was the correct pick, so me and the Bull got that right, the Steelers. Madden got that wrong with the Panthers. I'm not sure if I said which one was right or wrong or not. Falcons versus the Browns, I got that wrong with the Falcons, but the Bull and Madden actually got that right with the Browns. Dolphins versus the Packers, I got that right with the Packers with the Bull, and Madden got that wrong with the Dolphins. The Jaguars versus the Colts, I got that wrong with the Jaguars. The Bull got that right with the Colts, and Madden got that wrong by predicting a tie, because they did not tie. Lions versus the Bears, I got that right with the Bears, so did Madden. The Bull got that wrong with the Lions. Cardinals versus the Chiefs, we all three got that right with the Chiefs. Patriots versus Titans, I got that right with the Patriots, but I'm very okay with getting that prediction wrong. Bull and Madden got that actually right with the Titans. Redskins versus the Buccaneers, we all three got that right with the Redskins. Bills versus the Jets, me and Madden got that wrong with the Jets, and the Bull got that right with the Bills. Chargers versus the Raiders, I got that right with the Chargers. The Bull and Madden got that wrong with the Raiders. Seahawks versus the Rams, me and the Bull got that right with the Rams. The Bull got that wrong with the Seahawks. Cowboys versus the Eagles, I got that right with the Eagles. The Bull and Madden got that, Bull and Madden got that right with the Cowboys. I got that wrong with the Eagles. And Giants versus the 49ers, me and Madden got that wrong with the 49ers, and Bull got that right with the Giants. So with that all being said, let's move in to our Week 11 game predictions. Alright, starting it off with Thursday Night Football, we have the Packers at the Seahawks, and I am going with the Packers. The Packers haven't been doing that well lately, but I don't know. I think they'll be able to get it done against the Seahawks. Both of these teams, they're actually pretty good, and like they might make a wild card. I don't know. The Packers are in a bad situation because they got the Bears and the Vikings in their division. The Seahawks are a little bit better because they have the Cardinals and the 49ers in their division. They played the Rams close pretty good both times, so they could beat the Packers, but I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers being able to beat the Seahawks. The Bulls going to agree with me and say the Seahawks win. The Bulls going to disagree with me and say the Seahawks win because I say the Packers are going to win. But Madden's the one who's going to agree with me with the Packers winning. 31-27, saying the Packers beat the Seahawks. Honestly, I think I think it's going to be a close game. I agree with that score. It could go either way, honestly. That's kind of a hard one to predict, but I'm going with the Packers still. Okay, next up we have the Bengals at the Ravens. Earlier this year, the Bengals won this matchup. I'm going to go with them trading off. I'm going to have the Ravens winning this time. I actually took the Ravens earlier in week 2. So I'm gonna take the Ravens this time. I don't think the Bengals are gonna sweep the Ravens. They could, but I don't know. This could be a very important game, though. This could be potential a wild card spot to see who gets it, because both of these teams seem to be in at least somewhat content in the hunt for the wild card spot. In the one of the wild card spots in the AFC, because most likely the Chargers are gonna get the first one, because the Chiefs are just they're looking so elite. They're probably gonna win the division, and the Chargers are pretty good too. So most likely the Chargers are gonna have that number 5 wild card spot. So I don't know. It could be the Bengals or the Ravens next. The Bull is going to take the Bengals. Thinks the Bengals are going to win this one and sweep the Ravens this year. And Madden's going to say the Bengals as well beat the Ravens 31-28. It could happen. The Ravens could get swept by them this year. But I'm going to stick with my prediction and say the Ravens get this one done. Alright, next up we have my team, my game, the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Jaguars. Oh my goodness, did the Jaguars have the Steelers number last year? They beat them with Ben's horrible 5-pick game last year in the regular season, and they beat them 45-42 in the playoffs. And the last touchdown of the Steelers was kind of in garbage time. Yeah, the Jaguars just lost to the Colts. Got their 6th loss this year. The best they can do is 10-6 if they win out, and they've lost every divisional game so far, and they still have 3 more left. They lost once to the Texans, once to the Titans, and once to the Colts. I'm going with the Steelers. They look like they're better this year. I think they're gonna hopefully want revenge against the Jaguars. Hopefully play their hardest. I think the Steelers can finally win the Jaguars. I truly think the Steelers can get their revenge this year. Hopefully I am right. If they do win, it's not looking good for the Jaguars. But yeah, I thought they were gonna be really good this year. A lot of people did too, especially after they beat the Patriots. But I don't know what's going on. Blake Bortles, whatever. Jaguars don't look like they're that good anymore. I don't know. Maybe they find something. They could, but I don't know. We'll see. The Bull's going to say the Steelers are going to win this and agree with me. They say they're going to win against the Jaguars, but Madden's going to say the Jaguars win 35-9. Wasn't that like the score of like the regular season game last season or something? I don't know. It was definitely Steelers only got 9, and the Jaguars like defense. I think man thinks we're gonna repeat like that. I don't know about that. I think it's gonna be at least like a close game like the playoffs. Or it's gonna be a very decisive victory for the Steelers. So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Next up, we have the Panthers at the Lions. I'm going with the Panthers. My team, the Steelers, actually kind of destroyed the Panthers last week, but Panthers are still a great team. I think they definitely got what it takes to beat the Lions. Lions have been, they've kind of been struggling. They're just a mediocre team. They found a way to beat the Patriots, so that was cool, but I don't know. I think the Panthers got this one. I think they're the better team, and they can win. So does the Bull. The Bull's going to take the Panthers as well. But Madden's going to take the Lions. Not only that, but in a blowout, in a shutout, in fact, 38-0. Wow. The Lions, though, maybe a better team could do that to the Panthers, but the Lions, I don't see that at all. I think the Panthers definitely at least put points in the board. The Lions could upset them, but I don't think that bad. All right, next up we have the Titans at the Colts. Gotta go with the Titans, especially when they just beat the Patriots. Pretty good. And regardless of that Patriots win, I think they're the better team over the Colts. Colts surprisingly win against the Jaguars though, so maybe the divisional game they have home field advantage. Colts could do this, but I'm going with the Titans. I think the Titans will be able to beat the Colts. I think they're the overall better team, and I don't know. I think the Colts might have got lucky against the Jaguars. I don't know. The Bulls kind of agree with me with the Titans winning against the Colts. And Madden's going to make this three-way agreement. 31-21, the Titans beat the Colts. I can see it. I can even see it going either way, too. I'm not trying to sleep on the Colts, but I just think the Titans are better. So, I don't know. Colts are decent, but I think Titans are better. Alright, next up. We have the Cowboys at the Falcons. Falcons just lost to the Browns. Cowboys just beat the Eagles. I think I'm gonna go with the Cowboys here. I would go with the Falcons, but I just don't think they're that good this year. There's a lot of injuries, especially on defense. Cowboys are like so as well. But I think the Cowboys will come up on top against the Falcons, at least this Falcons team. If they were looking a bit better this season, I'd definitely take the Falcons. But I'm going with the Cowboys for this time around. So is the Bulls. The Bulls going to take the Cowboys as well to beat the Falcons. Man's actually going to take the Falcons to beat the Cowboys 37-34. Close game, pretty high scoring too. Maybe. We will have to wait and see. Alright, next up we have the Buccaneers at the Giants. I'm going with the Buccaneers. I'm going to say Fitzmagic really shows up this game. I'm pretty sure he's still playing. Actually, you know what? I think Fitzmagic actually kind of showed up last game, but with yardage, just not with points. So I think Fitzmagic's going to really show up against the Giants. They've beaten better teams, so I don't see why they couldn't beat the Giants. The Giants did just get a win against the 49ers, so they could beat the Buccaneers, but I'm going to go with Fitzmagic really stepping up and like the Buccaneers in general really stepping up to get this Giants win. The Bulls are actually going to have the Giants win. I think they're going to beat the Buccaneers. Man's going to agree with the Bull and say the Giants beat the Buccaneers 27-17. This one definitely could go either way. It really depends on how the Buccaneers show up. I think the Buccaneers could definitely win if Fitzmagic shows up, but if it doesn't, if Fitzgerald doesn't play, then doesn't perform well, then it could be a long day for the Buccaneers and an easy win for the Giants. Alright, next up we have one of the best games of this week. We have the Eagles at the Saints. The previous Super Bowl champions going up against the team that a lot of people are hyping up and saying might be the best team because they beat the Rams. They're the only team to beat the Rams. I don't know. Saints are good. Eagles are struggling a little bit. Or more than people thought. They're still a pretty good team, though. This honestly could go either way. But I'm going to go with the Saints. I think the Saints are looking really good. So, yeah. I think the Saints have the better team here. And they are going to be able to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. The Bulls actually going to take the Eagles to beat the New Orleans Saints. Man's gonna agree and say the Eagles beat the Saints 28-24. Eagles could beat the Saints here. I'm not denying that, but I think the Saints are gonna have the better team. So I think they're going to win. Plus, they do have home field advantage, and the Eagles have been struggling already. Eagles can't really get too many more losses. They're already not winning their division still, so I I don't know. We'll have to see. That's a very good game. It could go either way, honestly. Next up we have the Texans at the Redskins. And I'm going with the Texans. The Texans have been playing very, very well. They're on a decent win streak, I believe. And the Redskins, Redskins are alright. I'm not trying to sleep on them. I think the Texans are better, though. And I think the Texans could definitely beat a team like the Redskins. I definitely see the Redskins losing here. I guess the Redskins could win. But I just really see the Texans winning this one. So does the Bull. The Bull's gonna say the Texans beat the Redskins as well. But Matt's gonna go with the Redskins beating the Texans 13-10. Very low scoring game. Good defenses. Maybe it could go that well. I think it's gonna be more of like an average scoring game, like in the 20s. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Next up, we have the Broncos at the Chargers. This could be a very good game as well. I'm going with the Chargers. The Chargers are a pretty good team, especially this year. And they've been doing really well. Broncos kind of been doing mediocre. Yeah, I think the Chargers are going to be able to get a win over the Denver Broncos. I just think they're the better team, and they have the better record as well, and home field advantage. A lot of pluses for the Chargers, not many for the Broncos. It just makes sense to take the Chargers in this situation. And the Bull agrees with me, because the Bull is going to take the Chargers as well to beat the Broncos. But Matt's actually going to take the Broncos to beat the Chargers. 41-38, pretty high scoring game. It could get that much, but I don't know. I don't see the Broncos scoring that many points. Like, the Broncos are decent. They're all right. They're not the worst team. They're not the best. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs, but you never know. They're looking better than they have previous years, but I think the Lakers are better. Lakers. Oh my God, I've messed up so many times, and that was probably the worst one ever in this entire series. I called the Chargers the Lakers. Oh my God, let's just move on. Who cares anymore? Next up we have the Raiders at the Cardinals. And I'm taking the Cardinals. I would think that the Raiders are the better team, but I can't pick them anymore. After they lost against the 49ers, I can't pick the Raiders anymore. I was going to pick the Raiders this game. I can't trust them. They let me down so many times. They were way too overhyped again. I can't trust the Raiders. The Cardinals, I'm taking the Cardinals. I actually think they have the better players because John Gruden is training all the Raiders once already. So I don't know. I think the Cardinals are going to actually be able to win this and get their third win of the season. I don't think the Raiders are going to get their second win. This is another crap fest, tank bowl, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. This is a game. The Bulls are actually going to still have faith in the Raiders and take the Raiders to beat the Cardinals, which they could. My man's going to agree and say the Raiders beat the Cardinals 21-7. It makes sense, but, when you have two teams like this bad, it's like the same thing with two teams like really good. It could go either way, and it's hard to predict. Just for different reasons than you would have two good teams. But I think I'm going to stick with the Cardinals because I can't take the Raiders anymore this season. I just can't. I can't. Next up we have the Vikings at the Bears. I'm going with the Vikings. This is actually a very good game. I am going with the Vikings. I think the Vikings are a slightly better team, even though the Bears are much, much better than they have in years past. Still really good teams. This could be an important game, too. This is an important matchup. A lot of people believe, I at least do, one of these teams is either going to win the division, and the other's going to make a wild card. But I think these are two playoff teams. I like the Vikings better than the Bears. Some people like the Bears better than the Vikings. I think the Vikings have more talent to get them in the playoffs and win the division. So I think the Vikings are going to be able to win this. These teams still got both their matchups left, including this one. So I don't know. We'll have to see how this goes. I think the Vikings are the slightly better team, but it wouldn't be impossible for the Bears to win this. The Bulls gonna say the Vikings win this too as well and agree with me. And Matt's actually gonna make this a three-way agreement, saying the Vikings beat the Bears 17-14. I don't really know like if there's any more. We haven't had a lot of three-way agreements. I don't think. I don't remember saying that too much, unless I just didn't word it right. I don't know. It's weird. Alright. Next up, we have Monday Night Football, and we have the game of the week. This is a good game. This is a good game. It's always a good game when two one-loss teams go at it. We have the Chiefs at the Rams. This matchup, some people think could be the Super Bowl this year. Pat Mahomes and that offense going up against the stacked Rams team on offense and on defense. However, the Rams defense, at least their secondary, have been kind of flopping. The Chiefs never been really known this season for their defense. The Rams have been known for both. They've been undefeated until they lost to the Saints. The Chiefs were undefeated until they lost to the Patriots. Patriots and Saints are two very good teams. That's nothing to sleep on. That's alright if you lose to them. This is a very good game. Very good for Monday night. I'm going with the Rams. I think they have the slightly better defense, and that edge is going to be slightly better to win it. I could go either way though, because the Chiefs might have the slightly better defense. The Rams defense is still amazing though, but I think the Chiefs just have a little bit more weapons. But I think the defense on the Rams side is the better one, and this one could really go either way. I am going with the Rams though. I think a home field advantage and a bit better defense. I say a little bit better. They actually have a lot better defense. I think the better defense and the home field advantage is going to be enough for the Rams' favor to win this game. The Bulls are actually going to agree with me and say the Rams beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And Madden going to make this a three-way agreement saying the Rams beat the Chiefs 21-14. I think it's going to be much higher scoring than that. But yeah, we do three-way agree on this, but we could all get this wrong because the Chiefs are a great team and the Rams will be a great team. I might even watch this game. It's Monday night, doesn't interfere with the Steelers game. This side's going to be a good game. I don't know. I think the Rams are going to get it, but the Chiefs could as well. Alright, teams on the bye week, we have a lot of them again. We have the Dolphins, the 49ers, the Jets, the Patriots, the Bills, and the Browns, all on their bye week. Now let's recap. We have the Packers at the Seahawks. I'm taking the Packers. Bulls taking the Seahawks. Madden's taking the Packers. The Bengals at the Ravens. I'm taking the Ravens. Bulls taking the Bengals. Madden is taking the Bengals. The Jaguars at the Steelers. Steelers at the Jaguars, sorry. I'm taking the Steelers. Bulls taking the Steelers. Madden is taking the Jaguars. The Panthers at the Lions. I'm taking the Panthers. Bulls taking the Panthers. Madden's taking the Lions. The Titans at the Colts. I'm taking the Titans. Bulls taking the Titans. Madden's taking the Titans. The Cowboys at the Falcons. I'm taking the Cowboys. Bulls taking the Cowboys. Madden's taking the Falcons. The Buccaneers at the Giants. I'm taking the Buccaneers. The Bulls taking the Giants. And Madden's taking the Giants. The Eagles at the Saints. I'm taking the Saints. Bulls taking the Eagles. Madden's taking the Eagles. The Texans at the Redskins. I'm taking the Texans. Bulls taking the Texans. Madden's taking the Redskins. The Broncos at the Chargers. I'm taking the Chargers. Bulls taking the Chargers. Madden's taking the Broncos. The Raiders at the Cardinals. I'm taking the Cardinals. Bulls taking the Raiders. Madden is taking the Raiders. The Vikings at the Bears. I'm taking the Vikings. Bulls taking the Vikings, and Madden is taking the Vikings. The Chiefs at the Rams. I'm taking the Rams, Bulls taking the Rams, and Madden's taking the Rams. And that concludes my Week 11 game predictions. If you want to know how we all did, make sure you tune in to Week 12 predictions. As like we did with Week 10 this episode, we will be recapping how we all did Week 11, and of course then giving our Week 12 predictions. So that's gonna be it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like or dislike, subscribe or don't subscribe, you know, it's always up to you, and I'll see you guys in the next video you watch of me. Goodbye.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong.